Hi, my name is Logan Elmer, and this is my industry overview and competitor research. The first thing you need to understand about the games industry is that it's a huge market. The value globally is $78 billion as of this year, and it's expected to grow over $90 billion within 2020. The market for physical games have dropped drastically since 2011, however, as you can see in the chart to the right. Digital sales have gone up while the physical sales have declined. However, this is due to the increase of high speed internet that's become available throughout most of the world and doesn't really apply to rural areas where we plan on opening my store. We also have the sales tend to spike during the holidays and dip during the summer, hitting their low point in July. This can always be when Christmas is rolling around. You see the new ad, you see all the ads for the new Xbox or the new PlayStation or some new games like the new Assassin's Creed or the new Call of Duty. That's when the grandmothers, the aunts, the uncles go out and they're looking for those gifts for their relatives and they don't know what to buy. And so this is where we get to our next few points later on. Market opportunities. There are no game retailers within 40 minutes of any of the surrounding locations that I plan to market to. Emmett, Idaho, Garden Valley, Idaho, and Horseshoe Bend, Idaho, all are located in extremely rural areas. So building a retail game store here would um, show very would show great profits. Since there are no high speed internet providers here, physical games still sell well. Many of my friends that live here and just fellow students I went to school with, excuse me, they all bought physical games because they didn't have the internet to download digital games. And since the store location I plan on getting is located right off of the main highway that leads up to McCall from Boise, this would attract anybody that's coming through who's going to McCall for vacation or coming back, or just anyone that's driving through town. If we get some really nice signs or some nice advertising, this would really bring in a lot of customers. Long-term opportunities. This market has continued to grow in recent years and has nowhere to go but up. Even with the crash of the 80s, or in the late 70s, the market came back as we saw, and it's boomed with the Super Nintendo. Mario blew up, and this industry has just continued to grow since then. Building customer trust by acting as a consultant on purchases will ensure that we stay in business once high-speed internet movement does come in. We all know that internet is just going to continue to spread even to rural areas, and so if you can get in early and make sure that people trust you and want to come to your support store and support you, that will continue, that will keep the purchases coming and keep customers happy. And if the store does well, we can expand to similar places throughout the country. There's always going to be places like Kansas or just millions of places throughout the Midwest, and if we build our stores there, we can continue and make this much larger. Competitor research. So GameStop, Best Buy, and Walmart all have many of things in common. The only unique thing is that GameStop allows you to return or allows you to sell games. And that's something that's been a big issue with hardcore gamers throughout their entire lives. You spend $60 on a game, you beat it, and then after a few years you expect to bring it back and get like $20. Turns out they'll only give you $4. Sometimes you can bring back a brand new game and they'll only give you $10 maybe. And so this brings a lot of negative stereotypes with return values. If we can maybe offer returns and give them decent prices, that may help build that customer trust I was talking about. All of these can feel like they don't care what the consumer buys. Everyone's had that experience. You're going to buy a gift for a relative for Christmas or whatever, and they're just trying to sell you the new deal that their boss told them to do. So you need to sell this new Xbox. I went and bought an Xbox One S before Thanksgiving to get one. And this lady was just pushing me about a certain item. And it's like, I know what I came here to buy, but you don't care. You're just trying to sell the item. And that makes me not want to go back to Walmart. And so if we can make sure that we give customers what they want and make sure that we actually care about what they need, that will help this business be successful. Whenever you walk into these buildings, they can feel extremely corporate. You don't want that. You want it to feel welcoming, and you want them to talk to you and make sure, like I said, makes you feel like your needs are met. You want to feel welcome, and you don't want to feel overwhelmed. And a lot of these places can do that. I've walked into GameStops, and they they'll ask you what you want, but you don't. Sometimes you don't know what you want. They can just tell you, well, they got the new Call of Duty, and they'll say, well, what's that about? And they'll say, well, you don't know what Call of Duty is, and they'll kind of give you this business stick when they don't tell you what it really is. They don't tell you the downsides, and maybe try to help you out and find a better product for you. They don't always have the item that you need in stock. I can't count how many times I tried to go to a Best Buy or a Walmart when I was growing up, and I would ask them about a game that I would have, and they said, sorry, we don't have it. Or if they did have it, it'd be in the one across town and we couldn't go. So if we could maybe implement some sort of system to gauge what customers are interested in, or off of our sales, obviously, or we could have surveys about what upcoming games they're looking for, or maybe older games that aren't selling as well, we could specially order items for people. That's part of the benefit of having this smaller business, and I think that will help us immensely. It doesn't impact those companies if they lose a customer. If you go into a GameStop and tell them that you weren't satisfied with this product and you want to return it, they say, well, it's been past your 7-day return policy. We're sorry, but we can't give you a return. You're not going to want to go back to that store. You're going to want to leave and take your business elsewhere. And they don't care. They're looking for the next, they want to make money. That's the whole deal. With this smaller business, you need the customer to be happy to make money, so we can ensure that they don't get that mistake in the first place. If they have to come back even, they're going to be upset. So we need to make sure that they're happy with what they get in the current moment in time. They also have shady return policies. Like I said, with GameStop, if you don't return it within 7 days, you can't get a return on the item. And if it's within 3 days, and if they won't even let you return the. If it's 3 days, you can return the game for the same item. If it's damaged, they'll give you a return. But after that, after those 3 days, if the disc gets damaged, they can't do anything. It's horrible business policies, and we can't do that. These are the citations for the charts you saw at the beginning of the presentation. Thank you for listening. My name has been Logan Elmer.